Is Mike Clevinger getting back to his old form? And is Royce Lewis a league-winning ad? Join us today as we talk about must-add players from the weekend on this action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Sports Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. If you're listening on a platform like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we would truly appreciate it if you do that for us. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit that little bell below. It subscribes to the channel, also gives you a notification every time we drop a new episode. And lastly, but most importantly, it's the end of the year. You still got that chance to join us on the Subtext website. Through Subtext, it's a one-on-one personalized, in-depth experience through text messaging, and you get instant alerts for your phone for prospect call-ups, injury updates, and just much, much more than we can offer on this 30-minute podcast. And Locked On Fantasy Baseball fans, we have a fully loaded episode for you today. As always, let us be your team secret weapon, where we talk to you about must-add players from this weekend. Matt, we got a bunch of good ones, and who is up first, my brother?
All right, we got Mr. Mike Clevinger, who had a really nice start against the Oakland A's. You know what? Pretty much, I can go out there and have a nice start against the Oakland A's, especially when Geloff isn't in the lineup for last 3 days because my guy's got a little illness going on undisclosed. So Mike Clevinger looked great. His next matchup is just as nice. Detroit Tigers, pitching at Detroit, which is really nice. So all that tells me he's got, park protection. Yes, Torkelson has been lighting it up, and so is Kerry Carpenter. But I think that Mike Clevinger might be able to hold out and hold it down. That's going to be next Saturday, I believe. So he'll have that start going, and it'll be all right. You're going into the weekend, you'll kind of see what stats you need and be able to judge whether you want to roll him out or not. So you don't need to add him right away. But he's somebody that I definitely am willing to roll out if I need the Ks, because there's always that upside with him. And with Detroit being Detroit, he may get lucky and be able to sneak out a win and get a high strikeout game and keep the ERA down. So I wouldn't say he's a must-add out of all these players' names, but I will say that I am going to be targeting Mike Clevinger going into the weekend if I need the stats.
Yeah, Mike Clevinger's, I wouldn't say he's back to his old form yet, but he's looking very, very sharp, with age, as, me and my brother Matt always say, pitching becomes a chess match, especially, when you get older, you're not throwing as hard as you used to. You kind of got to figure out what's working for you and, ride that wave. And Mike Clevinger, over his last 9 starts, not including today, has been riding that wave. 49 innings, 40 strikeouts, only 18 walks, a 2.37 ERA. Batters are hitting 222 against him and a 115 whip over that time. So Mike Clevinger is looking fantastic. And as Matt mentioned, his next start's against Detroit. And guess what? The start after that against Detroit again. So 2 really good starts coming up for Clevinger. Once again, 48% owned. You can get him in half the leagues out there. I think right now you got to take Mike Clevinger. We know what this guy's capable of. He's been top 15, 20 pitcher before in his career. I don't know if he gets back to that this year, but I definitely think that he's worth adding for at least these next couple of starts. So let's talk about this next guy here, and it kind of comes with some sad news as well. So it looks like Felix Bautista has a UCL issue. It could be TJ. We're hoping it's not. We wish Felix Bautista the best. He's probably been a best closer so far this year, arguably. There's a couple other guys, but I think Felix Bautista gets that nod. So let's talk about Yennier Cano. We've talked about this guy on the podcast before. I mean, he's been very, very solid so far in the year. 62 innings, 5 saves, a win, 57 strikeouts, a 160 ERA, a 0.97 whip. Honestly, must add. Kind of pause the podcast moment. If you can get this guy right now, you absolutely need to add him to your roster, make the room, even if you have a couple of good closers. This guy, going to be closing for most likely the rest of the year for Baltimore. He's going to have a lot of opportunity. His numbers have been very, very strong on the year. Yennier Cano of the Baltimore Orioles, 64% owned, 18% up in the last day. So got to get him on your team if it's possible.
Yeah, no, I'm Dom beat me to the punch because I didn't see the news. Really upset about this, but it is what it is. You know, it's unfortunate, but Cano has been really good when those opportunities have come his way. So for sure, Ed Cano, but let's move on. I'm really mad talking about him. Let's talk about Mr. Griffin Canning. Um, Canning gets the Oakland A's next week, next Saturday. It's a really nice matchup for him. Canning has not been impressive, but he has had a bunch of starts that I can say, hey, I could feel confident rolling him out against a fluffy matchup, as I like to say. So, that being said, hey, roll him out against the A's. I definitely would love to roll him out this weekend. 22% owned. And on top of that, if Silseth is able to pitch that weekend as well, he's going up against the Oakland A's on Friday. He was hit in the head with a ball, I believe, and they didn't diagnose him with a concussion. But if
I think
he's
he did
available,
have a concussion. No, am
they
I
no,
wrong?
no, they thought he did. They said
Okay.
they didn't diagnose him with it. So
Okay.
with
Good.
that
Good. Good.
with that being said, there's a good chance he's going to make that spot in the rotation for that the rotational spot and pitch this week. So both of them are great spots. So an added bonus for you guys since I'm talking about the Angels.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, Matt. I'm liking Griffin Canning. He's been better of late. He's still only 27 years old, and this kid's got great stuff. So I'm kind of just waiting for that big breakout from him. Hoping it happens at some point. But his last 4 starts, there's one bad one with 3 good ones in there. That one bad one is really killing him. So I'm gonna give you a little breakdown. The overall numbers look solid over his last 4 for Canning. He had 17 innings pitched, 30 strikeouts over that time. The whip is kind of high, looking like a 1.20 whip. The ERA is a little high at a 4.58. But guess what? The FIP is a 2.93 over that time. So I like to see that. He's getting a lot of swinging strikes, a lot of strikeouts. I'm just really hoping that, Canning could really, be serviceable down the stretch and into next year. Might be a late round guy that you want to take a look at. But, Matt, you did a great job breaking him down there. I just got to grab his ownership percentage before we keep things pushing here.
24%.
Yeah, got you. Yep, perfect. Spot on, brother. So let's keep things going. Actually, before we move on to the next guy, we got another closer up for you. We got a rookie call up for the Cubs that's looked fantastic. We talked about Royce Lewis already, potential monster ad, and then we got a bunch of other great bats for you guys to add. But before we do that, quick ad break for you guys. At one time or another, we all need a little financial help. That's why Dave is great. Dave can get you cash when you need a hand in between paychecks, and it can also help build credit by settling extra cash TM advances on time. Dave can make managing your money so much easier with an interest-free extra cash TM advance, fee-free goal tracking, an easy way to find a side hustle and make more money. When you download Dave, you can get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. No credit check, no late fees. Advance the money you need with no interest, and then you could settle up later. Extra Cash TM gives you more money to buy groceries, fill up your tank, finally get your car repaired, or catch up on bills without having to wait for your next paycheck. You can even build credit when you settle up on time. Millions of people have already downloaded the Dave app, making their finance easier. Download Dave today at dave.com/MLB. That's dave.com/MLB. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Eligibility, criteria, and instant transfer fees apply. Banking services provided by Evolve, member FDIC. And every day as a new listeners, we have an incredible opportunity for you to support the show and enjoy some fantastic perks along the way. Introducing our Diamond Club on the Subtext website. By becoming a member, you not only contribute to the show's success, but also gain access to exclusive benefits. Get your hands on waiver wire rankings, call-up alerts, injury updates, instant reactions, and enjoy direct access to us for all of your burning fantasy baseball questions. Plus, you can try it out completely free for 14 days. Your support means the world to Matt and I, and we can't wait to connect with you on this exciting journey. Join our Diamond Club on the Subtext website today, and let's take your fantasy baseball experience to new heights. And guys, we're about at the end here, the final stretch. A chance for you to get a raffle spot into our listener league next year. It ends September 1st. We'll probably be doing that announcement. Matt, what does that date look like? I'm trying to pull it up now.
September. Shoot.
You guys will probably hear on the September 4th episode who the winner is. So if you're in there on September 1st, we will be doing that raffle. We'll be alerting the winner, instantly. But the big announcement to, everybody will come on September 4th. It looks like will be that episode that will, get it out on. But guys, just want to get in there. Subtext is great. This is the time of year you don't want to give up. So, join us on Subtext. Ask us any questions you need to help you get you that MD's championship or that Locked On championship. Sorry, living in the past there for a second. But Matt, as you can tell, I'm a little bit. I talked a little bit too much here. I'm losing it. So, brother, why don't you grab this next guy for us?
I got you, bro. All right. So let's talk about Jojo Romero. Jojo Romero looks like he's about to steal the job up right from under Gallegos. Gallegos has been absolutely putrid with the last month in 6 innings, so that you pretty much did 6 save attempts, 8.10 ERA, 7 Ks, and a 1.8 ERA. Like, he's been absolutely atrocious to the point where, like, man, my 2-year-old daughter could go out there and pitch better than him. It's atrocious. So Jojo has been great, though. I actually like what he's been doing. If he can lock up this role, it's going to be great. K per 9, a little bit over a K per 9, which is always something that's a really nice added bonus, which helps me put them over other relievers that aren't getting a K per 9, because now they're helping me out in, 3 categories versus just the one. So I genuinely like what Romero can do. I like the fact that he might be able to hold this job down. And if he does, there'll be some opportunities. It's not like the Cards have been like phenomenal where they're going to be in a lot of save situations. But at the same time, if somehow they decide to catch fire or, just be in close games, which if they're going to win a game, it's probably going to be close because they're not blowing out a single team this year. Jojo is going to be the one possibly taking advantage of it and getting the save. So Jojo might be somebody I'm considering to add.
Yeah, I think if you lost Batista and you missed out on Cano, Jojo is a reasonable replacement. His numbers on the year look very good: 3.55 ERA, 0.97 WHIP, 33 innings, 37 Ks, 3 wins, 3 saves, 10% owned for Jojo Romero. It's just that the Cardinals have been so bad. Out of their last 11 games, they've only won 2. So I don't know how many chances Romero is going to get here down the stretch. So I don't know, if he's like a must add. But I think in the situation, as I just mentioned, if you lost Felix Batista and there's really nobody else out there besides Jojo Romero who's 10% owned, you can give him the shot. But let's move on to our last young pitcher here. And, oh, my God, this guy looked outrageous in his, first start in the Pigs. That is Jordan Wicks of the Chicago Cubs. In his first outing against the Pittsburgh Pirates, he pitched 5 innings, got the win, 9 strikeouts, gave up 1 earned run and a 0.6 WHIP. Kid looks absolutely, phenomenal. Somebody I'm not super familiar with. I'm not going to come out and lie to you folks and tell you I knew all about him. Not super familiar with the big 6'3" lefty, 220 pounds. He's I don't know if I said this right. He's 23 years old. He had a pretty strong season in the minors so far this year. 7-0, 3.55 ERA for the young Wicks. 20 starts, 91 innings, 99 Ks, and a 1.17 WHIP. Kind of a breakout year in the minors for him because the last 2 years he was kind of just mediocre. Not a little round average type for Jordan Wicks. I would at least add him if he's available in your league. He's only 8% owned. Kind of just see where the thing goes with the kid. His next couple of starts look like they're lined up against. Looks like Cincinnati in Cincinnati, and then maybe at Arizona, at home though in Wrigley Field. 2 kind of tough starts, as we know, Great American Small Park or Great American Hitter Park, as Matt calls it, and against Arizona are not, very, very friendly starts. So it's going to be tough for the young kid. But you know what? This time of year, there's not many guys that are showing promise, and the young Jordan Wicks is showing promise. So he's at worst case scenario, give him the chance against Cincinnati and see how that one goes.
Love the take, Dom. I like Jordan Wicks a lot. From what I got to know him when you brought up the name for the show, I am also not familiar with him, but hey, it looks like he could be good. He's a speculative ad at this point. I'm probably not going to start him at Cincy, but I might add him to see how he does, and then maybe roll him out the next one and see how it goes from there. Because if he can hit, God, that's going to be fantastic. But let's move on. Let's talk about Mr. Royce Lewis. I think Dom, we're gonna just have to include him on every single one of these episodes
until he gets up there. He's only 37% owned, looking a little crazy right now.
I mean, quite honestly, like, guys, what are we doing here? If you don't have him, if you listen to us and you don't have Royce Lewis, like you're
Doing
doing
something wrong.
yeah, I'm sorry. Like shortstop and third base eligible. Okay. Shortstop has been actually one of the worst positions this year because of injuries. So Royce Lewis can be a serious ad for you. What he's doing is just incredible. This last week, it's more now, thank God. 5 runs, 3 bombs, 7 ribs, and he's batting probably about 265. Like Royce Lewis is going to be fantastic, guys. Like there's no way around this. If he starts running too, which he hasn't really shown off, which he does have the potential to go get you, like, 20, 30 steals without a question. Royce Lewis could be so valuable going into the playoffs this year. And Royce Lewis could carry you to the promised land. Like, you need to get him. He needs to hit 70%. If you're not picking him up or you have friends after you picked him up and they have other leagues, tell them about him because I'm sorry. We're going to hear about Royce Lewis every single one of these episodes until he's there.
Yeah, there's a reason the kid is, former top prospect. He's just very, very talented. Monstrous since his return. The thing is, he's just so injury prone. Matt was talking about the steals a little bit. I'm not as high on the steals potential just because he's coming off the ACL, the oblique, a bunch of different lower half injuries. So I don't know if the Twins want to risk that, letting him run, and then he slides the wrong way or comes up the wrong way, and it just doesn't look good. But you know what? His potential in every other category is amazing. 17 runs, 6 bombs, 20 RBIs, 2 steals, 318 batting average on the year, and 132 at-bats for the young Royce Lewis. He's been batting, looks like fifth or sixth, consistently, or even fourth in one game. They're actually moving him all around the lineup. I'm not even going to give you anywhere from second to sixth I've seen here in the last, 10 days for Royce Lewis. So they're moving him around the lineup, trying to see where he fits best for now. 37% owned is way too low. As Matt said, 70, 80% owned for Royce Lewis going into the playoffs is way more reasonable. I totally think that's where he needs to be. Let's move on to another guy that's kind of just been a great pickup. If you listen to us, we talked about this guy at numerous times in this podcast. It's Mitch the Carver Garver, 6'1", 220-pound veteran for the Texas Rangers. The guy is just having a monster second half here. After coming back from the injury. I'm going to give you some stats here just to show you how good this guy's been. Let's do the last 2 weeks. So the last 14 days for Mitch Garver. He is 10 for 38, 263 batting average, 6 runs, 4 homers, 5 RBIs. And even the last week, I think most of that production is actually over the last week because I know he had 3 home runs this week. He had 3 home runs this week. Guy's been on fire, been hitting in the middle of that Texas lineup on the year, 278 batting average, 27 runs, 12 homers, 35 RBIs. If you lost Henry Davis, if you need a catcher right now, I think Mitch Garver is the guy. He's been absolutely dominant of late, and I think that power is just going to put you over the top.
Yeah, for sure. I love Garver. Great. He's performing great. Great take, Dom. And before we move on, and we talk about a guy we've been also beating over your head and not stopping until he's up to about 60% owned. Another catcher who I am a big fan of and has fantastic batting average. And a guy that, I'd like to see what he's going to do. But before we do, sorry, wrong one. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over 5 million active users in 2022. At Sleeper, it's not about the sports, it's about building personal connections and lasting memories. Sleeper Picks is our real money product that connects friends over picks. Choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame, live, or even across different sports. Pick the over/under, and predict the stats and see if you win. Only Sleeper can give you up to 100 times payout. Share with your friends, get rewarded together. Use the promo code Locked On, and you'll get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions may apply. See Sleeper for terms and use or details. Currently operational in over 30 states. Check out Sleeper today. And guys, you need to download the app with just for their alerts alone. It is fantastic. They're early, they're quick, and they give you the advantage over most of your league mates, not just for baseball, which is also new for them, but fantastic. But for football coming around the corner, you need to download Sleeper. It helps you get ahead of the game and start planning out your moves. Until then, guys. All right, Dom. That was a lot for me. Go ahead.
Yeah, so come on, guys. What do we? I don't know if everybody's tuned out at this point. I think everybody that is consistent here probably has this guy already. It's Nolan Jones, man. Nolan Jones has just been so good. Last 14 days, kind of just unbelievable stats that he's still 40% owned, 9 runs, 2 homers, 10 RBIs, a steal, 326 batting average. Kid's 25. He plays half of his games in cores. He's 6'4", 195. Watch out. This kid puts on 10 pounds of muscle over the offseason. Forget about it. You're talking about a guy that's got 30 plus, home run upside. The team around him is very questionable, but he could hit for a very, very strong batting average. As too, he's shown it in the minors. A lot of very good batting average seasons in the minors for Nolan Jones. Even this year in the minors, before he got the call, 356 batting average. So he's shown that he can do it. First base and outfield eligible, hitting right in the middle of that Colorado lineup. That 40's got to be, 70%, 75% for Nolan Jones. Not really much else I can say besides this is a must-add player to your teams right now.
Facts, bro. Great take, man. I'm not even going to go at it, man. I'm just going to move on. Let's talk about Mr. Josh Rojas of the Seattle Mariners. Second and third base eligibility, 29% owned. He has had a monster week. I can't even say otherwise. 9 runs, 2 bombs, 6 ribs. Actually, let me change that. There's today's stats. Sorry. 10 runs, 2 bombs, 6 ribs, 4 stolen bases, batting .444. Rojas has just been fire right now. And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to say he's like a must-add for long-term, but I would ride this wave like somebody that enjoys surfing trying to ride the wave in Hawaii. Like, yo, Rojas is like a must-ride player. Not even a must-add, must-ride. And with this kind of weekend numbers, ride it all the way till it breaks. That's Josh Rojas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same page as Matt here with this one. Kind of just juice the orange here with Josh Rojas, get everything you can out of him. He's played his whole career with Arizona before he came over this season and, went over to Seattle. Only 17 games in Seattle so far, but they've been great. 60 at-bats, 15 runs, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 10 RBIs, 3 steals, and a 300 batting average. I don't think he keeps up the batting average, but the steals are real. He had, 23 steals and, almost a full season in 2022 with Arizona. Got a little bit of pop, not too much crazy pop. Seattle's been a lot better of late. He's hitting 9th, so he's got, that leadoff, crew comes right back and, drives him in. So the runs are going to be good. Steals are going to be good. I can't really guarantee too much else for Rojas. You need a middle infield, you need a corner infield because he's second and third on Yahoo. He can fulfill both of those things. 29% owned for Josh Rojas. Kind of a ride the wave thing here. I don't think he's a permanent solution. Might be my least favorite guy, that we're talking about today as far as the bats go. But you know what? That doesn't mean that he's not, somebody you want to add, because I would definitely at least give him the shot in some of those deeper leagues and see where it goes. Let's talk about our last guy here, just coming back from injury, and it's Gabriel Moreno, somebody that Matt and I, loved coming into this offseason. We were like hoping he was going to get the job, and I forgot who was, set to get Arizona's catching job to start the year, but they got hurt. Moreno got the job, and he's kind of just, I want to say somewhat lived up to the hype this year. He's been serviceable to say the least. 84 games on the year from the 23-year-old Moreno, 259 at-bats, 25 runs, 13 doubles, a triple, 5 homers, 37 RBIs, 4 steals. And I would love to see the walk to strikeout ratio be a little bit better for him because he does have the play discipline track record in the minors to do it. It's only 17 walks to 57 strikeouts, but I think that's going to be better going forward. And a 286 batting average, which also, he's got a lot of room to grow. If you take out that 2017 season where he was 17 years old, every other season in the minors, he's hit for 359, 280, 367, 315. He hit 319 in the majors last year for Toronto, of course, 25 games. And then I know it's only 3 games, but 3 games in the minors this year, 444 batting average. The guy's got batting average potential. The power could come along a little bit as it goes, but that's probably the worst part of his game. He's got some speed, and if he's going to be hitting, in that Arizona Diamondbacks lineup, that looks a lot better this year. Sky is the limit for Moreno. I truly think I would put Mitch Garver over Moreno. So if you missed out on Mitch Garver, you lost Henry Davis, you're still looking for a catcher. Moreno is 17% owned, and I think he's somebody you could look towards that he'll be at least, he won't hurt you in fantasy. I don't know how much he's going to help you, but he's not going to hurt you. He's going to be serviceable down the stretch. Once again, Gabriel Moreno, catcher, Arizona Diamondbacks, 17% owned on Yahoo.
Yeah. I mean, I like him just based off of the fact that he has batting average, right? So normally you add a catcher, and they're usually atrocious, and they're mutilating your average, right, by hitting like a 220, 190, because they're not getting consistent play. Moreno is batting about 400. Well, not 400, but 300. And in OPS leagues, he has an OPS of 800. That's also really helpful. So he's helping you in those categories. And then when he chips in ribbies, he sneaks in a home run for you. Like, those are added bonuses. Moreno's going to get on base at least and have the runs. So he's going to contribute. And that's better than most of the catchers that are out there, outside of obviously Mitch Garver. But eventually I think Mitch cools off. Moreno is just going to be, I think, the long play, where Moreno's going to be the serviceable guy all throughout the playoffs. Garver could cool off at any point, but we shall see. Right now, I am adding Garver. I'm riding the hot hand, and I'm playing him till the wheels fall off. But if Moreno's there and Garver's gone, I'm not going to be upset, because Moreno's going to carry me and be consistent. So that's a solid contribution from your catcher slot every single day. With that being said, Dom, why don't you wrap us up?
Yeah, guys, that is all for today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Also, thank you to our everydayers and new listeners for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen each and every day. Guys, it's that time of year. You want to stay locked on. If you're here to the end of the episode, I know you're a big fantasy baseball fanatic, then join us on Subtext if you haven't already. Everyone that's there is loving it. It's an opportunity to just, put you over the top, come to fantasy baseball playoffs times are right there. You don't want to be that guy that gives up and, misses your chance to win. You get instant alerts right to your phone. You get unlimited access to Matt and I for all of your questions. But with that being said, we're going to have a new episode for you guys tomorrow. So make sure you lock on for that one. But guys, until then, see you.